Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, wherever you are in the world, viewers and listeners, and welcome to a very special historians interview here on Tales from the Wandering Scribe. I'm your host, Gabriel Garcia, otherwise known as the Wandering Quill and the Wandering Scribe. And joining us today is an historian who now holds the record of being the youngest historian to be featured on the show. Now, my guest today is an aspiring young historian, author, and writer passionate about uncovering hidden historical narratives. And despite being very young, he has authored not one, not two, but three books, including the nonfiction history book titled, which I am probably going to butcher, I apologize, Vishvaidivalia. Again, I butchered that. I apologize, my viewers and listeners in India. The Lost Knowledge of India, a detailed account of four major ancient Indian universities. He has also penned articles on history and culture for platforms like LinkedIn, Voices of Youth, UNICEF, and more. He is also selected as a student reporter for Pierbog Bento Magazine of 2025. And in this role, he contributes to monthly writing prompts, including insightful book reviews and engaging magazine features, with select entries considered for publication. He also gains access to exclusive workshops and writes to invoke a wider interest in history and culture among youth. He has authored travelogues on historical places and museums at Tourism Bharat. And he has done all of that and more. So without further ado, viewers and listeners, I am so happy to have this person here on the show. So let's give a huge round of applause to our youngest historian on the show to date, Mr. Anurodh Das. Anurodh, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Namaste. And I would like to make a note you pronounce my book name that Vishwavidyalay. It's actually Vishwavidyalay. It means
Ah,
University of Hindi and Universal Learning in Sanskrit. Yeah.
okay. Well, thank you,
Okay.
Anurodh. I am so excited to have you here. And you have done a lot of work. So, before we dive further into the interview, is there anything else you would like to share with our viewers and listeners that wasn't covered in the introduction?
No, no, no. Absolutely. No. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So, since for your followers on LinkedIn who know you from there, you have titled your nonfiction book, which has probably gained the most traction, without giving away too much information, which I know is hard, as we historians, we love to share information in history. What can you tell us of your book detailing the lost knowledge of India?
So, you want to tell me about my book,
Yes.
Vishwavidyalay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Vishwavidyalay, The Lost Knowledge of India, it's a non-fiction history book, as you have told, on four major universities of India. It actually, first of all, it actually tells about all the aspects of ancient Indian education system. Okay, before the 10th century AD. Yeah, so it covers all those aspects of ancient Indian education system before 10th century AD, and it tells about and it majorly focuses on four major ancient universities of India, which I refer to them as Vishwavidyalay. Okay, so first is Takshila, which is the oldest among the other universities. Takshila, it was built in 6th century BCE, and then comes Nalanda, which was the most prominent. Uh, about 10,000 students studied there from not only the Indian subcontinent but also from the whole world, like China, Tibet, Persia, uh, Greece, and all. And after that comes Odantapuri. And there's a fact about Odantapuri is that its ruins has not been found yet. Like there have been several attempts to find its ruins, but it has not been found till date. And there are images in web, but they are actually false. Uh, the actual Odantapuri has not been found till date. And after that comes Vikramshila, which might be the latest, the newest among the list of these ancient universities, Vikramshila. So yeah, that's all.
Nice, amazing. I'm actually very impressed that for a young historian like yourself to not only have gathered all this information, but to also get it published in addition to three other books, which is incredible. That is amazing. So I'm very curious on the road. What sort of pushed you to go down the road of being an historian? What led you to that decision?
Uh, if the interest of history is still inside me, since I was 7 years old. Actually, when I was 7 years old, I went to a ruins of a palace. I don't remember its name now, but I went there with my father, and I don't know why I found it really fascinating. Like there was just bricks, just the base of the palace left, only bricks, and they were burned. But still, I found that very fascinating. And what I found more fascinating was that when my father started telling its history, like who built it, when and how. So from that moment, uh, a curiosity sparked inside me to know the past about some places, about any object and all. So after that, whenever I went to a place which was like old and that, so I was very curious to know about its past, like who built it and when and all. So this was just a spark that was emitted inside me regarding history. And after that, as I grew older, so that sparked so then the interest of history like grew more inside.
Fascinating, incredible. Now, from that point, what would you consider to be your definitive aha moment to not only share history, but to also write about history, to make that decision as well?
Uh, See, actually, if we talk about history, so there are like various narratives of history, but like there are certain narratives which are like kind of false and all. So when I
Hmm.
started finding, like, when I started learning history, and when I found out those certain narratives which were false regarding history, so um, so I don't. So then my aim was to like fix it, and my aim was to tell people the real truth behind it, like like
Right.
uh, rather than the false narratives. I wanted to tell the people like the real truth, whether it
Hmm.
is like controversial, irrespective, like anything. I just wanted to tell the people the truth. So yeah, that was the uh, uh yeah.
Awesome. All right. So now let's jump forward ahead. So as you are beginning your journey as an historian and as a writer, where do you see yourself as the type of historian, like your ultimate goal, not just for yourself going into this field, the field of history, but also down the road through all the numerous organizations that you're a part of and the articles you've written, the books you've written, and possibly others that are currently being written? What is your promise to people who come across your work and learn about history through you as the author and the historian? What do you want them to take away from your work?
As I've told, like my my primary aim is to tell people the real history. Like there are certain historians, like I won't name uh, I won't name them, but there
Mm.
are certain historians and people who like tell history like as they what they think of. Like it can be false and all, but it's based on their opinion, and
Mhm.
I'm against it. Like history cannot be based on opinions, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's why like uh, whatever it. whatever the truth is. I just want to I just want to keep it in front of the people. So
Hmm.
that's my primary name. And with this name, I'm going to continue in the future. Like, and my primary inspiration is Dr. Vikram Sampath. He's also a very like uh, he's also a very famous historian, and I want to be like him. Yeah. So I also like now I have just that written book. It has not written to it has not reached to more audience, which I want because I want more people to know the real truth about the
Right.
history. So that's the primary goal, not just of me, maybe of all the historians, I think.
Right. Absolutely. Now, what was sort of your family's reaction when you told them that you wanted to pursue history as a career? Were they supportive? Were they critical? And in regards to your book, The Lost Knowledge of India, what was the general reaction like from friends and family, as well as other historians and other colleagues who learned about this? Was it also positive, very critical, or somewhere down the middle?
My family has always supported me. Otherwise, I would not be here. Yeah, so
Mm.
because they have supported me from the beginning. Because of them only, I got that inspiration to write. You know, like and I would like to tell you, my father is also a history enthusiast. So
Oh, nice.
yes, so from him only, uh, uh, I got to learn history more from him. So he was like my history guide and history teacher, my first history teacher.
Nice.
And if we talk about my book, so the reaction was positive, even from my friends, my family, and all. So yeah,
That's awesome. That's really, really good. I'm glad that you have this really great support. And this then leads into the next set of questions on the road, which I think are very important, especially now in the digital age. And what I mean by
yeah,
that is, as historians, as times have changed, and with the rise of the internet and social media, it has become a double-edged sword for us in the industry. What I mean by that is with social media, we're able to connect with other colleagues, other like-minded people, bounce off ideas, grow our scholarship and understanding, which is incredible and help foster the growth of history. But on the other side, as you mentioned, there are those that will use history as a platform to project their own ideas, their understandings of the scholarship, and that could be, very detrimental to a person's mental health, well-being, and make them feel like they're a fraud, that they are not truly an historian, or they don't know what they're talking about, even if they have done the research, spent a lot of time gathering all the evidence, and that could weigh a lot on a person's mind. And of course, again, imposter syndrome is always going to be in the back of every historian's mind. I've interviewed quite a few people who have been like professors for many years, and they've even said that they have sometimes had imposter syndrome. So ultimately, for you on the road, with social media being present and using the internet as a way to not only showcase your books and your research, but also to showcase, your talent as an historian. Have you ever had moments of possible, imposter syndrome or maybe heightened anxiety? And what has disciplined you to continue through the fire and the flames, through all the negativity, no matter what? Because this is the career that you are very passionate about and you want to help grow.
okay. Actually, if we talk about social media, so if we utilize it properly, so we can definitely have a positive impact. But as you said, uh, I generally don't take that in mind. Actually, I don't take that in
Okay.
heart to that affect me because if I started taking each of the comment, like as you said, so it's definitely going to affect me as well as my work. So I'm not definitely going to like. Sorry, just a second. sorry, there was a call. Okay, so that's why I'm not going. So that's why I'm not going to be affected by that. Absolutely.
Mm.
So uh, yeah,
That's very true. And I think that's a very good thing to have, that as historians, we shouldn't necessarily be um bogged down by the comments, because you're right. If we kept scrolling through all the comments and all the negativity, we would never get anything done. Now, are there comments that are like genuine critiques or criticisms to the scholarship that we should take into consideration? Absolutely. If they are genuine and from like-minded individuals who can
yeah,
offer us a different perspective, which is true. But
yeah,
generally speaking, we should take critiques with a grain of salt. And this leads into another reflective question, more of an opinion question on the road. So during, of course, the lockdown, the COVID years, the world was pretty much isolated. But in those years of isolation, I talked with a lot of people who have said that they were able to grow their platform or enter a new stage of their life. I've talked to a lot of indie authors who have emerged from COVID, a lot of editors, narrators, as well as fellow historians, whether it could be content creators, bloggers, scholars, everything. And this has sparked a debate of whether or not the lockdown years sort of birthed a golden age of independent creators from the publishing side as well as the historical side. So, for you on the road, in your opinion, from your own research and own experiences, do you believe that we are in a golden age or renaissance of historical knowledge for independent historians?
yes, absolutely. Because now there's internet, as I said. So if we utilize it properly, so yeah, definitely, it's a golden age of innocence, as you said. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Awesome. And this is a follow up question. Do you believe that also we are in an emergence of a pseudo dark age? And what I mean by that is the rise of AI or artificial intelligence entering the publishing world. I've talked to a lot of authors who have said that AI has sort of mass produced novels and works of literature. But I've also talked with a lot of historians who have said that AI has been trickling down into the academic world in terms of writing dissertations or crafting lesson plans or even anything like that, which damages the scholarship. So, what are your thoughts on artificial intelligence or the use of AI in the academic historical world?
See, if you talk about scholarships and like research articles, so uh, I think like, and I have also noticed that in various platforms they have mentioned that no use of AI. So that's definitely a setback for those using AI. And I don't think that in in further years, like uh, mostly historians and all, they will use AI because what AI can do, like AI and the human work are completely different things, like what a human can do, like from their own mind, and and the most important thing is that AI has been created by human itself. So uh, what what a human mind can do, AI cannot do, and like as I said before. Uh, if we utilize AI properly, so it can also definitely have a like positive impact, but we have to not overuse it.
Yes,
Like yes, we have to
that
not
is very
overuse it.
true.
Like yes, like uh, like uh, we don't have to use AI to write books, articles, and all. We can just take a little help, like if there's something like doubt and all. So we can just take a little help, but we should not overuse it. Uh,
That is very true, Anurodh. That is very, very true. And now we go into my favorite segment, the business side of being an historian, which I'm very eager to hear your thoughts on. So, as a little icebreaker question, what has been the most surprising thing you've learned about being an historian? That could be, deciding your areas of expertise, what being a historian means now in today's digital age. What's been the most surprising pieces of information or surprising moments you've learned about being an historian?
Uh, okay, so it's actually a very okay. So like today, like if a historian like makes any kind of comment, okay, so like any kind of statement regarding any like aspect of history, so
Mm,
like there is uh there can be like various controversy regarding it. Many people can dislike it, like it. So so one thing I've learned that that any statement, any kind of statement made by an historian, any independent or like any kind of historian, any kind of statement he makes or she makes, like you have to take the full responsibility.
hmm
It is like even a little bit of like mismatch can cause a great controversy.
Yes, absolutely. That is very, very true. And unfortunately, I've talked again with a lot of my colleagues here in the States. They've had friends who have had instances where they've had to be very careful. And that is also, again, another danger of, you know, on social media that any piece of information can be misinterpreted without the context surrounding it. And that is a shame. That is a shame. And another thing I think is also important to talk about is, understanding our fields of expertise. Now, on the road, for you, when you made the decision to go down the road of an historian, what were some of the areas that you wanted to specialize in to let others know, hey, these are my areas of expertise, but I am interested in learning about other fields? Because I think that is very important to learn and gives us an idea of, the individual. So, for our viewers and listeners, what would you say right now are your areas of expertise that you like to share with people?
Other than history.
Well, I should say within history, your areas that you research about that you have the best understanding in.
Ancient Indian history, I would say.
All right, perfect, perfect. And then from that, as an historian, I also find it very interesting to talk about, understanding our audience. Because as
Yeah.
historians, we are academically trained to speak in a certain way. We have a certain way of speaking to fellow academics as opposed to individuals who may be history buffs or history enthusiasts, but may be confused by the jargon or the language that we use. So, for you on the road, specifically when you were writing your book on the lost knowledge of India, did you write for a specific academic audience in mind, or did you write for the general public?
No, 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 absolutely not. Uh, See, that's why I write my book in a storytelling format, like so that it's engaging for all kind of people, even if they're not interested in history, even if they're not history buffs, but still, that's why I write them in like storytelling format, uh, regard and not that in technical language, because anybody would find that bored, other than history buffs I'm talking about.
Nice, amazing, awesome. And then another sort of fan question. This actually is a really good one. So, when you were writing your book on the road, what was probably your favorite chapter to write about in that book? And what was probably the most challenging part to write about in that book?
Uh, Actually, all chapters of my book were favorite, but specifically if I talk about it, it was Nalanda. It was
Mm,
Nalanda, and the most challenging chapter if we talk about is Udantapuri, because as I said, it has not been found till date, and also not much information is available about it. So that's why I
mm,
have to like read uh, 10 to 15 like 10 to 12 books about it, like different, and there's not a specific book regarding it, not a specific one. not even one. So like there's a compilation of like other universities with Udantapuri, and even then, like uh, the information of Udantapuri is mixed with other universities. So yeah, that's why like it was the most challenging chapter, and I had spent like about uh 2 months on that researching.
Wow. Dang, that is incredible. And also, still on the topic of your book, when you published it, what was probably the most interesting things you've learned about publishing a book as an historian? Did you go through an academic press, a hybrid press, an independent press? How did that come about? And what has been the most interesting things you've learned about being an historian, but also being an historian who's also an author?
Uh, as an historian who is also an author, like we are free to express our thoughts, obviously, and we can express it in any way. Like as I said, I write my books and even articles in storytelling format. Uh, so yeah, we are free of choosing any way to express our ideas, our thoughts, and like if you talk about like academic press and also, so yeah, actually from not the beginning, actually I have published my book previous year independently, so not for any academic press and all, but I would definitely like to go through them because uh, you need a certain experience and all, like
Mm,
to go through them. You cannot just go like I will submit my article, it will go through, and it will and it will publish. So yeah, you need a certain experience, and I'm still gaining it. So after
right.
that, I would go through that academic press and all.
Absolutely. 100%. And this actually is
Yeah.
another fan question I got today, which is, are there any other eras in history that you would like to explore, or are there any fields with any subfields of history, whether it's, cultural history, military history, food history, that you would like to explore more and write about?
If we talk about like yeah, I'm also interested in like I would also like to learn about medieval Indian history. Yeah, and about like pre-independence history of India, and also if we talk about surface, so food history I prefer. Like there are many types of Indian food like are there, idli, dosa, vada.
Mhm.
So um, if we learn like about its past, like see, they have either they have been originated in India or they have come from like a very long distance, like Persia and all. Like if we
Mhm.
talk about samosa, it's an Indian food. You know about samosa? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So samosa has come from Persia. So uh, so there are so just like samosa, there are other foods we have which have come traveling a long distance, and there are who have been originated in India. So yeah, I would definitely like to learn about food history.
Nice. All right. And one thing I think we have talked about, and I think I've gotten a good understanding of you on the road throughout this interview thus far, is that, as you said before, you want to tell history very authentically, accurately. You want to spread awareness and bring the truth. And you've had a lot of role models and people who have helped you along the way. Your dad, as you mentioned before, who has probably been like your first history teacher, who has been a big help to
Yeah,
you. So I'm very
yeah.
curious, are there any other historians that you would say have helped you develop your own voice as a scholar and as a writer? Or are there any books that have helped you understand your voice in that way?
There are many. Like as I said, Vikram Sampat, um, and also Sanjeev Sanyal. He has also He's also my one of like biggest inspiration. I constantly read his books, like, and if we talk about books that have inspired me, so it's Ancient India, book by R. K. Majumdar. He was also a great historian. He's uh, in old times, like 50 years back, he was also a great historian, and there are others like Educational Heritage of like uh, Ancient India by Dr. Sahana Singh. So there are many, uncountable.
Nice. That's amazing. And kind of following up on that, how do you balance as an historian your own voice as a scholar to showcase who you are, but also understand that in the field of history, in the subfield specifically, there are expectations that, fellow peers are looking for in those fields of history, that you have to either speak a certain way, you have to either agree with the scholarship that has been argued for many years. So, how do you balance the two, your voice, your individuality as an historian, but also the people, as you said, who have helped you and have been big inspirations, as well as the books that have helped you? Because ultimately, as historians and as people, we don't want to replicate or imitate anyone. We just want to showcase our knowledge and our expertise, but in our own way.
Yeah, absolutely. Because see, as you said, we can't replicate any one particular thing. So yeah, so that's why what I do is that um, uh, I take ideas and then I mix them with my like own ideas which I have found through my research. Yeah, like as I mentioned, those books, Ancient India and Educational Heritage of like Ancient India. So these books have been a major source for me to write Vishwavidyalaya. So uh, so other than these books, there are various like sources of me which have helped me and also uh, I have not replicated them as I said, but I have taken their ideas um, and I have put in my own ideas and mixed them and yeah, that's what I have done.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And this kind of leads into another fun question, which I think is very important. And that is, of course, networking, because networking as historians is huge. It's very helpful. And it's also a way to meet new colleagues and new friends. So, for you on the road, how would you tell other historians that if they want to be, very successful in this industry, in this field, to really branch out and network with other historians?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Network is the most important thing because like uh, even if you publish a book, so you need like that network of other
Hmm.
publishers and all. So as a historian also you need network of other historians and other scholars because like if you talk with them, so like it also develops um, your profession also, your your thought process and all. So yeah, definitely networking is a major is a major thing for all historians.
Yes. And as we near the final question on the road, I'm going to touch on something that I think is important to note, which is in the fields of history, as I've talked with many people before, it is the one industry among many that you have two paths only presented to you, which is, to go down the road of academia, whether you're a teacher or a professor, or government, whether you're working for a museum, an historical site. And the reason I bring this up is that as historians, those are the only two positions or roles that are given to us when we graduate from university. But as I've talked with a lot of people on this show, there is this middle path, but it's often the most challenging. And that is, of course, the independent path, taking on different roles, different skills, and building your own career. For me, my background is classical history from Greece, Rome, a little bit of Persia, and so forth. And while I love teaching history, I would never consider myself a teacher or wish to be a teacher because that isn't for me, but I love to write and I love writing about history. And there was a workshop that I went to that really helped showed me that there are many different uses for a history degree. And I definitely feel workshops like these should be mandatory. So this is a two-part question. Number one, do you agree that workshops like these for history students should be a mandatory to help them understand, there are other avenues to use your history degree? And in a little hypothetical scenario, let's say down the road, you have been invited to give a lecture, a workshop at a university, and your classroom is filled with entry level students who are all passionate about history. In that classroom, among the multitude of topics you can discuss with them, what is the one topic that you would want to share with them that can also be seen as a piece of wisdom?
First, I would like to answer that your second question.
Okay.
So I would like to teach them about ancient Indian education system. Like there are various aspects of that which I would like to tell them, and they're also regarding like wisdom, like different parts of philosophy and all. So yeah, we can definitely learn something from them, from that ancient Indian education system. So that's my answer for a second question. And if we go and if I talk about that first question, so if you talk about me, so actually I have to decide particularly like whether I will go on that academia path or whether that government path. But whoever the path I choose, I will definitely continue writing books and all because other than doing that work, I can do this in part time because as I said, for me the most important thing is to like to get help to help the people to know the real truth about history. So that I will never stop writing. So that's my main
Excellent.
goal.
Excellent, Anurodh. And with that, viewers and listeners, we conclude this amazing, incredible historians interview here on Tales from the Wandering Scribe. I want to give a huge thank you to our guest, Mr. Anurodh Das, for making his official debut here on the show. Anurodh, thank you so very much. Thank you again for coming on the show. Now, before we officially end, where can people find you on social media if they want to reach out and connect? And where can people buy a copy of your book, Lost Knowledge of India?
People can connect with me in LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, um, and if they want to buy my books, then it's available in all platforms, Amazon, Flipkart, and all of them. So yeah, and thank you so much. Uh, it was also my pleasure to be in your podcast.
Awesome. I will link all those down below in the description of this video. Thank you again, viewers and listeners, for joining us for another amazing interview. Again, a huge thank you to our guest for coming on the show. As one historian to another, I wish him the very best on his career and his success. He is a bright future in this field. And if you are a fellow historian looking to connect and network on LinkedIn, definitely reach out to this incredible young man to grow and help him on his journey. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below to stay up to date with all new episodes and all new updates. And until next time, there's the Wandering Scribe and the Wandering Quill signing out. Wish you all a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. And until next time, we'll see you in the next episode.